All right. Well, good morning. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Hey, the day before the weekend really kicks off, Lions Talk Live. We got OTAs, getting through another week of things. We've got some tidbits about all the stuff happening over there. We got news that, hey, mixed reviews, I guess you could say, on Hendon Hooker and his progression. But let's also keep in mind this young man, went through very limited stuff last year because of the ACL recovery, knee injury. So you know what? He's really just making his first steps in the league this particular OTAs and what we're going to see in the preseason. I know we've talked about it on the show before, but it's my guess that you're going to see him get the lion's share of snaps and reps during the preseason games. So, hey, plenty of opportunity for him to grow. Also, we've heard whispers and rumors that Terrion Arnold is already starting to show signs of progression, that he's starting to learn some of the nuances of the NFL game. And really, that's the basis of OTAs. Just getting guys to kind of chip away, learn little things, especially with the younger guys. New to the team players, hey, how much are they picking up what the coaches are trying to tell them about, what we're going to do in this situation, that situation, what we do schematically here, etc. Just start bringing everybody along on a pace. So we are hearing that Arnold is starting to show signs of improvement. And as I'm sure you guys all read or heard on 40 other different channels yesterday, even picked off a pass to Jared Goff. Guess he made an impressive play to make the interception, and Goff even came over and gave him a little bit of a praise after making such a play. But it is OTAs, so don't overreact one way or the other on a number of things. Ben Johnson came out and talked when asked by reporters why he chose to stay with the Detroit Lions and turned down, apparently, another head coaching opportunity. His simple comment was that, he enjoyed being here and he enjoys the sunshine. Also, MCDC himself, I know a lot of us have been talking about for a while, hey, will the Lions kick more field goals this year? MCDC, should he have kicked a field goal instead of going for it on the original fourth down in the NFC title game? Maybe we should have done it, yada, yada, yada. Whatever he wanted to do, he did say he would be more comfortable kicking field goals if he felt from longer ranges, if he had more faith that those kicks would be higher probabilities for them. So is that an indication that maybe the Lions will go after Jake Bates? I know there have been a lot of reports that came out last week and this week that Michael Badgley is showing more leg strength and accuracy. So we'll have to wait for the season to see if MCDC goes for more field goals or if he keeps being gambling man Dan and going for it on fourth down. Not that I have a problem either way. Just be what you want to be. So those are some of the observations. There are tons more. Sounds like the defense is getting a little chippy with the offense and maybe even each other. And yes, I'm sad to say that there's not full coverage on James Houston watch. In my opinion, there should be a camera devoted to him all the time. But it does sound like, in all seriousness, James Houston is having a pretty good OTAs. He's catching some notes. He's catching the eyes of many of the reporters in attendance. And what we can say is him and Marcus Davenport seem to be the leading candidates to be the opening day starter opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Both men seem to be very aware of how the other one is progressing, which perhaps is elevating both their games. Hey, you wouldn't be much of an athlete if you just accepted your role in life or on the team. Most people want to keep ascending. They want to keep better, getting better, I should say. And the fact that both of them are doing so well in OTAs leads me to believe that, man, these guys might just end up being iron, sharpening iron, make the team better. One of them is going to get that spot. The other one's going to get a lot of snaps. So it might just be, hey, the Lions are going to win because of that, because you're going to talk about having multiple different options to not just take the snaps opposite Hutchinson, but when Hutchinson gets a break, you're going to get some opportunities to get in over there too. All right, before we get into the rest of the show, a couple of little things. Yeah, as you guys all know, one, Kurt Steele is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, about 7:30, so in about 25 minutes from now. Next, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're trying to get to 6,800 subs. If you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you like the video and everything we do within the channel, please consider hitting the thumbs up, like button, whatever you want to call it button. Try to get each video between 200 to 300 thumbs up or more, just because it helps push the content out to more and more individuals who have not yet discovered Lions Talk Live. Last but never least, If you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the state of Michigan, it can be a new house for you. It can be to sell your house. It can be to move a house. It can be to find vacant land. It can be commercial property. You get any type of real estate transaction in the state of Michigan. You can give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me know what I can do for you, help you save you some money, and or make the transition a whole lot easier. I'll try to bring all those 30 plus years of experience to you and make this as easy a process as possible. Even if you've never bought a house before, I might have to walk you through how to remove, say, wallpaper or whatever else. Yeah, I had to do that with a client yesterday. A pastor, religious person, bought a house. She was very honest with me. Hey, you want me to walk you through the Bible and everything? I can do that. She does not know anything about how to take care of a house or how to do this, that, the other thing. So helped her out a lot with those understandings, even something as simple as changing a filter on your furnace. So at any rate, if you're interested in real estate, give me a call or shoot me a text. All right, back to Lions Talk Live. Sorry about that little tidbits there, but hey, it's part of the show. What are your guys' thoughts on OTA so far? That's why I'm thinking you guys will be here to share. You've heard me give you some updates on OTAs, on Hendon Hooker, on Houston, Davenport, and other players. It does. I know we did a video a couple days ago, but Jack Campbell continues to catch the eyes of multiple different reporters in attendance. I would say this, the Lions are trending upwards. OTA as observations, tempers are flaring. As you guys all know, it got a little chippy yesterday in practice, or excuse me, 2 days ago in practice. Hooker, as I already stated, is battling some adjustments to the league, some accuracy issues, but I'm sure all that will be cleaned up in time. And no real news yet on Brian Branch. We all know we're waiting. We've heard what MCDC has to say about his recovery and his projection timeline, but my anticipation is he'll be good to go by time training camp hits in 98 more days. I think that's right, what we have. All right, let's go ahead and get over to the Duke Crew, see what you guys have to say. Michael, what do you got? Greetings, salutations, Duke Crew, exclamation points, Super Bowl or bust, one pride, and woo, woo. Good morning to you, Michael, and thanks for kicking us off. JDC, morning all, back at you. Bo, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. Ben Johnson is walking on sunshine. Woo! There you go, yes. Yes, he is. He's walking on sunshine. All right, Bo, question. Hendon Hooker keeps mentioning JT. Who is JT? Probably JT Barrett from Ohio State. Yes, that would be my guess, though. Don't hold me to that. Let's see. Moonscar. Time to put a little dew in my crew. There you go. Exclamation point. Morning, one and all. Hope to hear some interesting OTA news from the man of steel. Yes, we'll see what Kurt has to say at the bottom of the hour about the OTAs and get his insider information. Frank the Tank, woo! Go Lions, 100% Frank, and good morning. Answer 14, man. I haven't seen you in a bit. Glad to see you back, man. Greetings, salutations, Coach. Hope you and the Duke Crew have a great day. Love the Duke Crew. Ball cap I got wearing proudly today. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Glad you have it and glad you're enjoying it. And good to see you, man. Like I said, it's been a minute. Mike the Marine. Howdy, Dan, Lions faithful. It's a happy Friday in Wooville. Woo, woo. Yes, it is. And hey, everybody's working for the weekend, and now the weekend is here. All right, Frank, think any player that comes to the Detroit Lions with this coaching staff, they have to will be a better player for sure. Go Lions. Yes, I don't think there's much debate at this point. This coaching staff is known for developing players, bringing them along. Coaching them up, well, however you want to term it. I think 100% right, Frank. They're going to make that player better. Answer 14. I believe it's JT. I believe JT is JT Barrett, one of the coaches. Yes, correct. Yeah, the former Ohio State guy. Frank the Tank. There's not only Hall of Famers on this team. There's also Hall of Fame coaches on this team. Go Lions. I think when it's all said and done, I think you could potentially, I mean, I don't want to speak into existence or anything, just let it kind of happen. But I think you're right. There are some guys on the staff and players that at some point in the future could end up wearing gold jackets. So we'll wait and see. Moonscar, Bo, JT is JT Barrett, former Ohio State quarterback. I think that is an assistant quarterback coach. Yes, correct. All right, Don Banda. Woo! There you go, Donnie, and leading that charge. Detroit D, greetings and salutations, everyone. Let's go Lions, 1,000%. You know, D, we're getting closer and closer to seeing the Lions go in the D. Let's see, Bo, JT Barrett is the former Ohio State quarterback. Thanks for the answers. No worries, no worries. Clark Griswold, good morning, Duke crew! Exclamation point. OTAs sound like they are going well for our guys. They do. You keep getting news and notes about it, and I get it's everybody's on the same playing field at this point. You got across the league teams going. Nobody's going to say anything bad about stuff. I get there are some reports. I think they're a little exaggerated and overblown coming out of Chicago that Caleb Williams isn't doing well. I think he's just going through the normal rookie process of learning things. No different than what you read about Hendon Hooker. Hey, he's inaccurate. He hasn't done this, doesn't do that. It's OTAs. Now, if he gets through all the way, both gentlemen go all the way through training camp and still have some issues, now it's probably a little bit more of a red flag. But these are the first steps for both Hooker and Caleb Williams to just try to figure things out, the nuances of the game, the speed of the game, the types of players they're working with, some of the players, what they do, their tendencies, etc. There's a lot for these guys to process, and I think in time both will be fine. All right, Bo, finger fouled up my last. Thank you. All right, and it happens. It happens. Answer 14, yeah, former Buckeye, but he is a part of the better family now. 100%, 100%. Yeah, he's a part of the Lions, and we'll see what he does with them. All right, Frank the Tank, love the show. Keep up the good work, Dan. Lions Talk, Lions Talk all day. Yes, 100% strong. Go Lions. I'll go with all the above. And Frank, thanks for being here every morning. All right, Jerome, good morning, Coach. I believe in healthy competition, but fighting each other. Lions practice, what are they thinking? Hey, guys get chippy. It happens, man. It's happened, 70 years ago in this league. It's going to happen 70 years from now. It's just part of it, man. It's heat of the moment type stuff. Somebody's talking about somebody's mama. Things happen, man. It's I'd say it's fairly normal. And just as long as it doesn't get out of control, it's normal. All right, answer 14. Yeah, former Buckeye, but he's in a much better place now. Correct. All right, Big Eddie Greens, salutations, everyone. From what I've read, Hooker is struggling somewhat. I guess he isn't ready to replace Goff yet. Laughing out loud. Yeah, I would say he needs time, but where is he going to be in a year, 2, 3 years from now? I think that's more where the team is focused on. Not today, not tomorrow. Most players are going to need time to grow. I don't foresee Hooker replacing Goff anytime soon. If you guys remember, before Goff even signed his extension, I said I believe the Lions are going to wait until the preseason games to re-sign Goff just to have more information on Hooker. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition. They were more proactive with it. And, Hooker, he's probably going to need a little time to kind of catch up to the NFL speed. All right, Bo, thanks, guys. I'm walking on sunshine this morning. Woo! Yo! All right, woo yo it is. All right, Moonscar, answer 14, laughing. There you go. Moonscar, time to feel good. Yes, everybody needs to feel good. It feels better to feel good than it does bad. All right, Bo, try not to make too many waves. All right, there you go. Just say, K, morning, people. Morning. People are getting chippy in camp. Yeah, it happens. You got guys bumping around, competing. It's no different than playing like pickup basketball or, anything else, man, at the pool hall. People get chippy sometimes. It's just part of competition. All right, Bone, just say K. It's a new mindset. There you are. Right? Let's see. Moonscar, just say K. That's because they have not had their coffee yet. I'll go with that. Yes, maybe that would calm them down and bring peace to everybody. All right, 70. Good morning, boys. Ben Johnson likes sunshine. It sounds like, laughing out loud. Yes, he did make some comments about that. And, hey, whatever. Well, the Lions are the beneficiaries of it. They kept him around. And I'm going to guess most of us did not think Ben Johnson would be returning this year. So whatever it was, glad he's back. All right, Franz, good evening, everyone. Coach, your boy Houston sounds like he's playing very well in camp. It does. It sounds like him. And to be fair, Marcus Davenport are both doing very well in camp. Now, again, these are without pads. There's a lot of things that will change, in 90 days from now when they hit training camp in earnest. So, take it with a grain of salt, but it does sound good. It does sound like both guys are fueled by the opinion that, hey, either one of them could be the starting end opposite Hutchinson. So I'm guessing they're putting out as much effort as possible. Both of them are on contract years too. So Houston's here this year. He balls out, he's going to get a big payday, whether it's here in Detroit or with somebody else. And Davenport's the same way. Both of them know they're playing for their next paycheck. And let's be fair, in the NFL, your next contract could always be your last one. So hopefully it works out very well for both guys pushing each other forward. All right, Bo. Hi, Stephanie. Do you wear any red keys? Okay. Brent, good morning, Dan and Duke crew. After watching all the interviews, do we have the best overall coaching staff? I think so. Oh yeah. We've got a without question, I think a pretty dang good staff. I still think a lot of the guys that are sub coaches, so not the head coach, not the OC or DC, but a lot of the supporting staff, a lot of them are probably going to be gone a year from now if the Lions really do have as good a year as we're all anticipating, because other teams are going to want to acquire them. It's no different than our front office, our scouting department, even some of our players. Throughout the entire process of this, you're going to see guys get got, and I could see a lot of guys, just end up being signed by other teams. So enjoy it while we got it, because usually from year to year, it does change. Big Daz, good morning to Dan and the Duke crew. Have a great and blessed day. Woo! And same to you, Big Daz. Hopefully you're having a great one, and enjoy the weekend if we don't see you tomorrow. All right, Ed, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Back at you, Ed. Hopefully you're out there fishing and catching something. Stephanie, I don't, Bo Booth. All right, fair enough. Bo, that's okay. Just walk in the sunshine. Fair enough. Hookadoo, good morning, Coach and Kurt, and all the Duke crew in Wooville. There you go. Go Lions. Robert, greetings and dew enthusiasts. All dew enthusiasts. Yes, I am ready for a morning Mountain Dew. Feel like I need a little bit more today. I'm not quite nor where mine normally is at this point in the morning. So ready for the dew. Kurt, good morning. Hooker is going to take some time to grow. What did everyone expect? Question mark. That doesn't mean he won't develop. No, he's probably going to make noticeable strides from last week to this week, throughout training camp. And that's really, if I'm a coach, that's all that I'm really worried about. Does he look better from this day to this day? Does the trend continue to be your friend? When he goes through the preseason games, that first game, some of the things he'll struggle with, does he struggle less with them in game 2 and 3, etc.? Then he's really progressing. All right, Moonscar at Bo, she probably takes a walk on the wilder side. There you go, take a walk on the wild side. Motown, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke crew. Lions rule, Bears drool. Question of the day: with Williams not doing well in Chicago, maybe they would be interested in trade for Hooker or for a defensive end. I would say at this point, it'd be at least my guess, Motown Mitch, the Bears aren't going to make any changes. They're going to see what they have in Caleb Williams, and they probably will change exponentially from now to preseason to the start of the regular season, the halfway point to the end of the year. It may be a rough season for Caleb Williams. It may not be. We'll wait and see, but I will say I don't foresee at least the Chicago Bears making any kind of radical changes at this time. All right, Steve, good morning, Duke crew. The captain is reporting. Glad to have you here, Cap, and good to see you. Robert, need more breaking news. Woo! There you go. Yes, unfortunately, I think we're probably not going to have any breaking news unless like Jake Bates or somebody like that signs with the team. I know everybody keeps speculating about other players, but at least at this point, I don't think the team's going to sign anybody. Maybe when we get closer to July, they might, or training camp. But I would think we probably got a little bit of a lull for another month, maybe 2 months, until something really happens. All right, Brett Hooker's first camp, I think he'll be fine. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, these are probably in earnest, really his first NFL snaps. Last year, he was incredibly restricted, so just wait and see how he progresses throughout this summer. All right, Bo, sounds like Hooker had a good grasp on who to listen to. Yeah, I think he's got some good guys around him. Ben Johnson, Burnell, Barrett, all of them. I think he's going to get coached up. I think from what we've heard, Goff has tried to help him out too. And that's what I'm happy most about, is there doesn't seem to be a divide or division, however you want to term it, between Goff and Hooker. It seems like Goff is trying to take a little bit of a mentorship role with them, because at the end of the day, while we all want Goff to play every game, I think you also need to be prepared just in case something happens. And Goff understands this team's got some real potential. He's going to do everything he can to help that young guy help grow. So if the situation arises, he's as prepared as he can be. All right, Rocky, good morning. All one day closer to some football. Yes, we are. Well, I think don't ask me, but I want to say it's like 99 or 98 days until training camp. Steve, greetings and salutations. Coach Dan of the Duke Crew, 100% and back at you. Moonscar, any OTA camp injuries that anyone has heard about? Nothing that, seems severe that I'm aware of, at least. Nothing I'm aware of there, Moonscar. All right, Steve, I agree with Brent. Hooker will be fine. Yes, just give him some time. Jedi Sith, what do you got? Greetings and salutations. Are we signing Bates? Question mark. Campbell talked about kicking more field goals if he had more faith in them from longer range. It's a fair question, and one I don't know the answer to there, Jedi. I know we've all heard that, Michael Badgley is kicking from like 60 yards now in OTAs, and he's kicking accurately. Could that alleviate the Lions' need to acquire Bates? Sure. Does it mean the Lions will not go for Bates? That I don't know. So wait and see, man. All right, let's see. Bo Moonscar, I thought I was bad. Yes, I thought you were bad too. Phil, doobie-doobie-doo. Good morning to you, Phil, and good to see you. Let's see. Patrick, good morning to all. We are going to have a spectacular year, I think. I think you're right. I know we're all talking about it. We're all debating it. But I think, this is going to be a real special year. So get your whatever recording mechanism, VCR, whatever it is that you use to record things nowadays. Get it ready. You may want to record as much of this season as possible. Let's see. Anthony, good morning. Duke Crew, back at you, Anthony. Great. Always glad to see you, and thank you for all you do for the channel. Phil, you are badass. There you go. I concur with Phil. There you go. Anthony, did anybody watch the press conferences yesterday? I watched some of them. I didn't have time to watch all of them, but I watched some of them. Let's see. Bo, only fun in pun. There you go. Good morning, Anthony. Phil, puntastic. You all right? Quentin, greetings, salutations all. Man, people tripping on Hooker. Guy will be fine in time. Needs time to grow and time to learn the NFL. Yeah. I would say that's pretty spot on. Yeah, just give him time to kind of get his feet wet in the NFL, figure a few things out, and see where he goes from there. Let's see. Motown. Yes, Moonscar heard that Williams broke a nail on an incomplete pass. He threw 10 yards behind Moore. It could happen. Wait and see, though. I wouldn't rush to judgment on a rookie quarterback in OTAs just yet. I mean, hey, Peyton Manning struggled for a while his rookie year before he eventually got things turned around. All right, let's see. Anthony, morning, brother. Hookadoo, there you go. Motown broke? Yes, I figured that's where you're going with it. Let's see. Moonscar, morning, Anthony. Yes, I did. All right. Ed, for the Lions' sake, I hope Hooker can learn to read the receivers. College, he only rid a half from the field and then ran. All right. Yeah, I think he'll be fine, man. Just give him some time, man. Give him a couple weeks. Give him, the preseason. See where he's at by the end of the preseason games. And Anthony, believe Broderick's going to be just fine. Yeah, that's another one we haven't talked about yet. Broderick Martin, I think that dude is going to make an impact. Now, I don't think he's going to be a starter this year, but I do think he's going to get some significant snaps and produce out of those snaps. Hatman, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Steve, I missed the live show yesterday, but streamed it after work and gave it a thumbs up. Thank you for that, Steve. Thank you very much for doing that. Phil, he does look good in high heels, cleats. All right. Are we talking about Caleb Williams or who are we talking about there, Phil? But glad to hear they pulled it off well. Doesn't work for everybody. All right, see, Moonscar, bummer for Williams. He should call up Dennis Rodman and find out who he uses. All right, there you go. Bo, I noticed how much Hutch seems to have matured in his interviews. Yeah, there's been out of the interviews and stuff, you've heard a lot of people talk, including MCDC, talk about, hey, Hutch is still growing. He's still maturing. He's still improving as a player. So sometimes I think we all forget he's only going to be in year 3 coming up. He's done very well for his first 2 seasons. All right, Broski, just woo! With Dan of the Duke Crew. Yes, woo! There you go, Broski. Anthony Williams is a bust. We'll see, man. It's early for that, I think. Motown, right? That's some good advice. Maybe Broski Bear can hook him up. All right. Moonscar, morning, Broski. There you go. Phil, but his hair was perfect. Well, you got to start somewhere. To me, you start with the hair. Work your way around that from there. All right, Patrick, on the ending song, Happy Trails, my dad's cousin sang with the Sons of the Pioneers for a time in their earlier years. I can't remember his full name, only the last name of Cheersboro. All right, there you go. Good news, and thank you for that. Phil, cool open, Dan. All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to mix them up. Not have the same opener every day, so trying to make it fun, and I'll probably work on a few other ones this weekend. But thank you for that, Phil. All right, Motown Mitchell, what up, Broski Bear? Steve, my 5 top quarterbacks are Jared Goff, Eric Kramer, Matt Stafford, Eric Hipple, and Dave Craig, even though he only played for a short period. No, but Craig did have a pretty good time here in Detroit. Trying to remember, was it? Yeah, Mitchell was the starter, and then he came in when Mitchell got injured. Then there is a long stretch where Dave Craig, yeah, he played, and he played well for the Lions. Yes, Dave Craig, yeah. Phil, Todd Bits, all right. Todd, Tid, all right. All the above. How about that? Todd, Tad. There you go. Steve, Jared Goff is and Eric Kramer was very good at play action. Correct. Yeah, and especially you go back and watch some of Kramer's stuff. Man, the only time I can really remember him throwing a bad one was the 93. Had a chance to put away the playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, and we were like on the 5-yard line, and he dropped back, play action, threw across the middle. I don't remember the Packers linebacker's name, but he read it and picked it off and returned it, I want to say, all the way for a score, and then it was a game. Instead of being a blowout or putting the game to rest, yeah, it was now a game again. All right, Broski, Motown Mitch, Moonscar Blade, Bo Booth, good morning. Good morning to everybody. All right, Patrick, Eric Hipple, and Dave Craig, I don't get it. All right, hey, to each their own. Yep. Steve Scott Mitchell couldn't hand the ball off to Barry Sanders without falling down. There could be a lot of truth to that. A whole lot of truth to that. Let's see. RY Lions fan, first time here. Love the show. Well, glad to have you here, and thank you for joining. Let's see. Anthony, welcome. RY, there you go. Big D, RY, welcome. All right. One Funky, how dare you? All right. What are we daring? I guess let me know. All right, Patrick Broski-Bear, good morning to you. Are you old enough to remember the rivalry on who could be the nastiest between Mike Lukey and Dick Butkus? I know I am not for that. I am not old enough for that. Brent, Bobby Lane, most passing TDs while intoxicated. Man, he might lead the NFL all time on that one. So, yes, it could be with that. All right, let's see a couple more here. And then we got the man, the myth, the legend, Kurt Steele coming on. All right, let's see. Dave Craig brought back play action on his own, having Barry and the Lions seem to have forgotten how. That could be true. Patrick, I hope Dan the man stays just the way he was the last few years. Yeah, I don't think MCDC is going to change. He's probably going to stick true to his guns. Phil, gray or blue face mask, which is best? I'm going to go with gray myself. Blue. All right, there we go. Big D. Let's see, Big Das, how long are OTAs? I thought they were done after 3 days. Should be done this week. Motown, my main man, the man of steel himself, Kurt Steele. Yes, he will be here momentarily. Moonscar, I like the blue, stands out. 9 drinks, Hooker press conference was great. It was. Let's see, Broski, Patrick, good morning, sir. No, I'm not old enough to have been around for that. I'm 46, but we'll look up, look it up and check it out. Phil, anyone like the Motor City uniforms the baseball team is wearing? Can't call them the Tigers. You can't call them the Tigers, all right? Big Daz, I'll go with the blue mask, all right? Hey, Anthony, thank you that. Spray the wealth on my $730 win on DraftKings last night. Well, congrats on the big win, and I will enjoy a Mountain Dew and a hot dog, and thank you very much for that. Thank you again for that. Here, get a little flash there. All right, Motown. Big Daz, believe it ends today and mini camp starts. Yes, correct. Next week. Could be wrong, but that's my belief. I believe you're correct. All right, it is 7:30. It is time to bring on, drum roll, please. Da-da-da, there we go. Kurt, how you doing this morning?
What up, though? What's going on, family, man? Good morning to the Duke crew. Dan, how you doing, man? Interesting topics this morning. Are you talking about the OTAs and what's going on with the Lions right now? But we're here to talk Lions. Let's get it.
Well, let's talk Lions. That sounds like a great name of a show. Uh, so, let's go with this. Let's start with the defense because I think really the defense is going to be the biggest difference probably this upcoming season versus last year. You're hearing all sorts of things about this guy's playing well, this unit's playing well, they're playing chippy, they're playing with heart and passion. What's your take on the defense so far from what you're hearing?
From what I'm understanding is that they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder. Aiden Hutchinson's firing everybody up. Rookies are playing well. However, to be honest with you, it's always easier for the defense to play well in these situations. Why? Because they're more reactionary. They play fluid. They're not having to, learn plays, and they're just playing a base defense. They're just playing naturally. Offense, it's a little different with them because they're trying to, work on things, and it's always a little easier for the defense because of the type of style they play for the defense. But I'm liking what I'm hearing coming out of camp. I'm hearing I heard you talk about it a little earlier. What's going on, with the young fella Terry Arnold, picking off Goff, right, and then Goff going over and dapping him up. Saying good job. Probably was one of the things when I heard you talk about that actually when I read it yesterday, and I was like, it probably was a throw that Jared Goff was like, man, this guy's a rookie. I can just freaking, I could just make this play and, make this pass, and he's not going to get to it. And sure enough, Arnold was like, saying, don't try it. I'm a rookie, but, I have skills. And plus, it's still OTAs. Pajama interceptions do not impress me just as much as pajama touchdowns don't really, impress me as well. So I'm pretty sure he just made a good play on the ball. Good, good solid play by the rookie, and probably a bonehead throw by Goff, thinking he could just get it past them. So the bigger things for me is when we get to camp and, you get the pads on and, you start hitting. But I just, I like the work, they get a chance to kind of gel. I hear, a lot of good positive things coming out of OTAs right now.
So let's talk about Hendon Hooker, somebody else we've talked about in this show. This is, in my opinion, his rookie season. I mean, you'd say what little he got out of last year, but he's coming in here. Do you think that he's already the number 2 quarterback on the team, or do you think there's going to be a quarterback competition for that number 2 spot?
Right now he's it because Sudfeld's hurt. So, I mean, he's it. I mean, and to be honest with you, and to hear people, just like they were talking about the young fella, Caleb Williams out there in Chicago. Oh, he's struggling. Dude, this is the first time these guys have been in this environment. Hendon Hooker was there last year, but he was sitting on the sidelines. And as much as he was getting some practice reps in, late in the fall, or, when he was, trying to ramp back up to see if he can get on the field last year. This is the first time him being in OTAs. To be honest with you, is what I expected. Struggle a little bit. He's a number 2 quarterback right now. He hasn't been in this type of environment. It's not like Tennessee. This is a professional camp, professional OTAs, professional environment, and he hasn't done this before. So I don't expect him to come up and light it up as soon as he gets into OTAs. I mean, first of all, it's an environment for him to learn. And second of all, he just doesn't have the time on task or the reps to be out there just lighting it up in OTAs. I mean, he's going against professional cornerbacks, no matter how old or young these guys are, the second unit, he's going to go against some experienced guys that have more experience at the pro level than he does. So he's going to have to adjust. He'll be fine. I talked to I met a Lions fan the other day. I was up picking a script up for my wife at the hospital here in North Carolina at the on Fort Liberty. And he was talking to me about, he was so excited about, excited to see Hendon Hooker. I'm like, dude, calm down. That's like, he's going to be, because he was worried about the Goff contract because, we got the Hendon Hooker. I'm like, dude, Hendon Hooker, to be honest with you, he's progressive. He's State Farm. He's Jake from State Farm. He's insurance. You know, that's what he is right now.
Right.
Because I don't think there was ever going to be a scenario where he was going to be a starter over Jared Goff. I've never thought that.
So let me ask you, we're going to come into the season, I think we all agree, with a lot of expectations.
Right.
You've heard the mantra Super Bowl or bust or whatever. You've heard even the national media poke the bear, talk to MCDC about it. My question to you is, the first 3 years that this regime's been here, it's been different in the fact that, hey, the first year, there were zero expectations. The team was trash. They knew it. They were going to have to rely on the draft and draft picks to bring in some talent here. Second year, they get off the bad start. They finish strong. Right now, you got some momentum. They carry that momentum into last year. How much pressure is on this team and this coaching staff to just simply make the playoffs? And that's no small task by Lions standards. So to make the playoffs and then make a legitimate push for the Super Bowl.
I don't think there's any. The only pressure is the pressure on themselves, to be honest with you. I mean, we as creators and fans can say, oh, they should be a Super Bowl contender, but there's no more pressure than what they're putting on themselves, and they should be. They should have internal expectations of how they should perform this season. They had it last year, going into last year. They had it where they're not going to be complacent because Dan Campbell is not going to let them be complacent. He's going to push them and have them and coach them the same way and keep the same hunger that they've had before. Complacency is their greatest foe right now. And if they can, but he's combating that by his coaching. Him and his coaching staff are not going to let these guys rest on their laurels, and he's going to push them as hard as he can, as much as he can, to get them to perform. But to be honest with you, he has a lot of young leaders on his team, and they're not going to let each other, be complacent. A guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown or Penei Sewell on the offense, guys like Alex Anzalone, Aiden Hutchinson, they're not going to let each other go out there and fail and be complacent. So it's the pressure it was internal, and I don't think it's one of those things where they're going to go out there and try to overcompensate. I think they're just going to go out there and be themselves.
So here's a question for you: outside of Jared Goff, the quarterback position, who is the most important player on offense and defense for this team?
Oh, for the offense, it's got to be number 58, man, Penei Sewell, man. People will say that, he's usually the left tackle with a right-handed quarterback, but if you look at Penei Sewell and what the run game is on that right side of the offensive line, I just think he's a tone setter for the offensive line. Even with Frank Ragnow, him being the captain of that defense, the offensive line and making the right calls. But if you don't have a guy like Penei Sewell setting the tone, out there, being a leader on the field, he's vocal, he's out there giving it. Think about this. This guy's like, my kids are older than Penei Sewell, but he's out there, leading the charge. He's giving the pregame speech. He's a captain, and he just wants it more. I can't wait. I can't wait to get a 58 jersey this year. He's my favorite player on the Lions offense, probably outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and probably because St. Brown wears 14. That's my favorite number as well. So, on the defensive side of the ball, who is the most important player? To be honest with you, the tone setter for the defense is Alex Anzalone.
Okay, I'll go with that.
He sets the tone, because if he's not playing well in that middle of that defense and calling it, because he's the green dot, if he's not getting that front seven lined up, man, we're having some issues. But you look at it, when he's playing with his hair on fire, the whole defense plays better.
So you think about Anzalone, since you brought him up, how much has he grown from when he left the Saints to come here to where he is now?
Oh my God, it's exponential, leaps and bounds. And the thing is that if you look at his career in New Orleans, he was a situational player that
Mhm.
really played in passing downs where he was, a coverage linebacker, lined up a
Right.
lot on tight ends. So he had to actually learn a new position in Detroit. And it was one of those things where people were getting frustrated because you had him as the Mike linebacker and he was out of position over running plays. But the fact was that he didn't know how to play the Mike linebacker position. Even in college, you think about it, he played at Florida. He wasn't the Mike linebacker there.
Right.
Uh, Jarrett Davis was the Mike linebacker because remember we drafted Jarrett Davis
We
to
did.
be our Mike linebacker here in Detroit. So you look at that, he was an off the lot ball linebacker in college, off the ball linebacker in New Orleans, and he's coming to Detroit and they're making him the Mike linebacker. He had to learn to play the position, adjust, and now he can play more controlled. He can, have his speed burst when he has to, he's laid back when he has to, and he's a heat-seeking missile when he's going to find the ball.
So if you had to guess right now, I'm putting you on the spot here. How many sacks and let's go with interceptions this defense could potentially produce in the upcoming season? What are your reasonable expectations for the defense?
Well, we had 40 sacks last year, so I'm going to go 10 more, 50. 50
Okay.
sacks last year. Interceptions. That's a tough one. Having Arnold and Davis on the outside now, and I think that Kirby's going to get his because he
Mhm.
always gets about 3 or 4 a year. So I'm going to say about 12 interceptions for the year. That's a couple, about 3 or 4 for Kirby, maybe a couple for Iffy, and those guys on the outside. But those guys are they're handsy, they're PBU guys. So I expect more PBUs than I do interceptions.
Okay. Here's a question: is Jared Goff an MVP candidate when the season ends?
I think this season's set up for it. Yeah.
What
Think
did,
about
what's
this.
that? Okay, go for
Think
it.
about
Go for
this.
it.
Look at our schedule, right? We have 3 outdoor games and only
We do.
1 cold weather game. Because if you look at the San Francisco outdoors, that's not a cold weather game for him toward the end of the season. So you look at that, right? So you're looking at a cold weather game, and even the Green Bay game is going to be outside. That's not a cold weather environment this year. The only cold weather game is going to be Chicago toward the
Right.
end of the year. So everything else is in a dome. That sets up Jared Goff to have an MVP caliber season.
So the Bears drafted, as we all know, Caleb Williams. We all also know that Justin Fields did give this defense some fits. Do you think, and it's way too early, I get it, but do you think that the Bears, by going to Caleb Williams, actually did the Lions a favor by getting Justin Fields off the field against us?
Absolutely not. Caleb Williams can run. People don't remember Caleb Williams at Oklahoma. I remember Caleb Williams at Oklahoma. Why? I follow Oklahoma. I used to be stationed there.
Right.
I was there when they won the national championship. And so that was kind of my default, kind of like second, third team, outside of the University of Michigan. And looking at Caleb Williams, when he played at Oklahoma, he was more of a threat with his legs than he was his arm. Got more passing reps. They put him more in the pocket at USC, but he does have the ability to run. So don't get it fooled and think he's just a pocket passer. No, that guy can kill you with his legs. So he just wasn't asked to do it as much at USC than he was at Oklahoma. So even we're under the same coach, both were under Lincoln Riley, at Oklahoma and USC, but don't think he can't do it. Now, I don't know. I don't think they're going to ask him to do it because that's a recipe for a disaster to get him hurt. But
Right.
I think he can do it, and don't think that he doesn't have the ability to get out there and make plays with his legs.
So, let's say, I guess 3 seasons from now, everybody likes to do redrafts, and I did an episode, I don't know, earlier this week where you went back and revisited last year's draft and how many of our top 4 draft picks ended up going in the first round. When we come back to this draft class 3-4 years from now, whatever it may be, who do you think is going to be viewed as 1 or 2 players that are going to be the biggest steals when people look back?
if you look at this draft class,
Correct. 2020.
the if he can get healthy and get on the field, and I think he will be able to progress. I think in his Rickshaw will be one of the steals of the draft. I just think that this guy, you got to remember, this guy was a first round. He was a first round grade,
He was.
and just like Arnold, where all the offensive players pushed those defensive backs down the draft board. Um, I think he has the ability to be one of those guys. I mean, and I think that the coaching staff is going to, bring him along. You have the new defensive backs coach, of course, with Aaron Glenn. He's a former defensive backs coach. You look at what he did, and he always has his pulse on the secondary, and he has the tools where he has the players that he can have in the defense where he can upgrade. These guys are press man guys. With the ability to play zone. They're not just press man guys, but they're kind of versatile. Rickshaw and Arnold can both play in the zone. They're better press man guys, but they can play zone. I think you got a guy like a Meek Robinson. He's a bridge guy. I don't think he's going to be here past this year. I just think he's here to kind of be a veteran. And I'm not even sure if Carlton Davis is going to be here, past 1 year. You look at, he only signed a 1 year deal. So you have the two veterans to bring the young guys along. Maybe one of those guys stays and one leaves, but I think the development of Rickshaw is going to be one of those things that's going to make him the steal of the draft.
So in the OTAs, and I get way too early, but Makai Wingo has been talked about a lot. What are your tempered expectations for this kid? Because he is a rookie, but what do you think we might have with him?
A disruptor. That's one thing that Terrell Williams, he preaches as a defensive line coach, being a disruptive force. He was down there at LSU, undersized guy, not very tall. Not comparing him to but he's kind of fits the mold of an Aaron Donald, not as far as his physical gifts, but you look at his stature and the way that he uses his body to use leverage and speed. So that's the type of player he is. So you mix them in there with DJ Reader and Liam McNeil and Josh Pascal, man, you have a disruptor up there, man. And you look at, I'm not even, what do you call that? I'm not even throwing out Broderick Martin. You looked at the transformation of his body this year. That kid, he has become a professional because in the offseason, he took time to make sure he sculpted his body to get ready for the NFL season. I like that from him. He did it a lot faster than Liam McNeil. Took Liam McNeil a couple of years to kind of get his mind right as far as getting his body right. So, but I like what he did in the offseason. The kid slimmed down and he's muscled up. It's kind of hard to judge how that's going to be in the season, just because of the fact that there's no pads yet. So when we get the training camp, you don't know how that's going to affect him. But I liked what he did with his body this offseason.
Jameson Williams, breakout year or bust year?
Man, J-Mo going to do his thing, man. I'm happy for Waymo right now. And you look at what he's doing in camp. Of course, he had a drop. People have drops, but they say he's torching people. It's not even close. Like, Kendall Vildor, we know Kendall Vildor, everybody remember, but he's a fast guy. And he absolutely, they say he absolutely just torched him with his speed down the field for a long pass in practice the other day. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from J-Mo. You look at his attitude is better. You know what I'm saying? He's coming in with a workman attitude. I think the one thing that people, and I heard this, and people kind of what do you call that? It just kind of went over people's heads, and they didn't really pay attention to what was going on. He said something the other day that I was like, he has a good attitude this season, is that he was focusing on just even lining up correctly. Because and he said in college, he could just kind of line up where he kind of was where he wanted to. And because of the fact that they were kind of like an open offense and he could just kind of do what he wanted to do. But being in the right place, being on and at the right time and making sure that he's running the right routes is something that he's improved on. Dan Campbell said he's the most improved player right now in spring ball. And And even what Carlton Davis is saying, that this guy has all of the tools of an NFL wide receiver. You can see his was even with the some of the limited clips that we're seeing, better route running, better catching with his hands and not his body. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Jameson Williams this OTAs.
All right, last question I got for you.
Okay.
Assuming J-Mo does have the season we're anticipating, where he's going to keep elevating, keep maturing. Unfortunately, when the end of the year comes up, do the Detroit Lions have to make a choice? Are we going to keep this kid, have him, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Goff all getting paid? Or do you think that means we might have to start looking for a replacement for somebody?
Nah, Jameson Williams was drafted in the first round for a reason. If he has that breakout season, you got to think about it, right? This is his third year. He has a 5th-year option they can pick up. So next year is only the 4th year. So they can have him under contract under a reasonable price for the next 2 years. Well, actually, the next 3 years. So this year and 2 years from now. So I think that it's just, to me, unless they and they can work the salary cap where they can keep him under contract for a while without having to, break the bank, because you got to look at a couple years from now when the contract hits for Goff,
right?
And but they still can work things there, because you can restructure, and people all up in arms about the money that Jared Goff got, man. But it's the flexibility of the contracts that make those contracts worthwhile. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Jalen Waddle contract. If you look at this apples to apples, we got a better deal for Amon-Ra St. Brown than what the Dolphins paid for Waddle.
Yeah, he got a ton.
He got a ton.
So one last one.
Okay.
Just because I know we're going to be debating it until really the first game of this season. Who do you think, at this point, if you had to guess, who do you think starts opposite Hutchinson at defensive end?
Woo. Right now, I still believe that the veteran Davenport's going to be the starter, just because he has more skin in the game, more time in the league, and he has more to prove. To be honest with you, than a James Houston. He's a bigger body than James Houston, taller, longer, and he has a better run defense right now. You know what I'm saying? Than a James Houston. That, I think, is one of the things that James Houston struggles on, is run support. And that's just because, to be honest with you, I think that comes from the fact that he's, as a defensive end, switching from linebacker, he doesn't have the actual bulk and size. He has the speed and to play on the edge, but he's not a bigger guy. So until I can see that he can set the edge in the run game, that's going to be my pick, is going to be Davenport right now.
All right. He is Kurt Steele. He is the infamous one. Kurt, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out? Let everybody know where to find you, all that type of stuff.
Well, you can see right now under my name, Sideline Report. Definitely check me out over there. You can go to kurtsteele.com. You can see all my content right there. Links to my YouTube channel. Give me a follow on social media. All my links to my Twitter, Facebook, everything is right there on the homepage of kurtsteele.com. Just published an article the other day on Sideline Report about Scotty Montgomery. Good read. And to be honest with you, he may be the next guy to get a head coaching job, and not Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson, man. That guy is a leader. And he's already had a head coaching in college. So look out for Scotty Montgomery, man. I like what he's doing.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for hopping on the show. I'll get you back on soon. Thanks for always coming on, Kurt.
All right. Thank you. And hey, do crew, man. Talk to you guys later.
See you, Kurt. All right. Let's see what the Do Crew's got. All right. See, Motown Mitch, Badass. What do you got? Believe it ends today at mini camp. Starts next week. Could be wrong, but that's my belief. All right. Trying to hammering through a bunch of these before we get to the end of the hour. Let's see. Dan, good morning, Do Crew. I foresee Hooker taking over in year 3. That can extend him on the cheap as a backup and give him this team 2 to 3 to win a Super Bowl with Goff, then a rebuild with Hooker. All right. Phil, I hear they want Dan to suit up and catch a pass. It could be. I bet you MCDC could still catch a few passes. All right, broski, better keep 100 so you can have something to pay me. All right, fair enough. Patrick Broski Bear, he was a linebacker for the Lions back when Dick Butkus was a linebacker for the Bears. All right. Broski, Patrick, what do you got? Thanks for letting me know about him. I will look him up. Anthony, Broski, you wish you were still smoking that pipe. All right. Motown Broski Bear, sir, I would be honored to make a profile pick bet with you, a prolific bet with you. All right. Fair enough. JDC, Lucy rocked. All right. JP, good morning, coach. Good morning to you, JP. Anthony, in coach already has 50 of it. Correct. True Light, how many days until training camp? I think 98. Patrick, JDC agreed 100%, even though he had real bad eyesight. He never stopped him. All right. Fair enough. Broski, let's see, Motown Mitch. The only bets I make are for straight cash, homie. Doesn't have to be 100 like my bet with Anthony. Let me know what you're thinking. All right. Answer 14. Hey, coach, do you have any undrafted free agents that you'd like to make the team? Maybe Williams, the receiver. He would stand out. There's one defensive back. Boy, I cannot remember his name offhand. Cornerback / safety. I thought he did real well in the rookie, rookie camp. Broski, JDC, I see you. All right, JDC, the bet of the century could be, and we'll have to broadcast some games just to keep everybody on with the bets. Let's see, Phil, JD McCarthy lighting up Minnesota could be. Don Broski Bear is going to be missing like most Bears fans who lose bets versus Detroit. I've got bets with Teddy Bear fans and none have paid. Well, let's this time I think we all know you will get paid. Motown Mitch. Well, Broski, I work too hard for my money, only one who gets it is old ball and chain. I was thinking who has the better season at the end of the year. Whoever team wins, has to support. All right, Motown. The other team's logo support the other team's logo for a week on YouTube. Good enough. JDC, the same with us. Motown teams. See, Bears, Broski Bear, see, Mitch, I hear you and respect that, but I couldn't do that. All right? Broski, I agree with you about betting Bears and Eagles fans. There have been some of both that haven't paid me. I bet. I have no doubt about that. Hold on, be tough for me too, but I have faith in my lands and believe you are making a wise decision not taking that bet. Is that still you? Hey, good to see you. Is that? Hey, Coach and Duke Crew, nice morning. When do OTAs end? Are the undrafted free agents who signed contracts guaranteed a roster position? Are they guaranteed a roster spot? No, they're not. OTAs this week. So keep those in mind. All right, Rocky, good morning. Kurt Steele. Broski, I sent my money in already. He did. And wanted to bet me. Dan will hold the money. I am holding the money. Phil, Grand Valley Kid is going to be our backup. Well, we will see, Phil. Let's see. Anthony, well, he didn't want to send Coach the other 50, but he didn't want to send Coach the other 50. But that said, if he loses, he'll pay me through Cash App. We'll see. All right. JDC, he wasn't the only one lighting Minnesota up. That is correct. Don Broski, Teddy Bear, bet what? All right. Don, I want to know how Matthew Betts is doing in camp. To be honest, Don, I don't know if we've heard a ton about him in camp. Maybe somebody else has. Maybe I've missed it. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see if anybody can throw something in the comment section, but I have not heard much. Let's see. Broski Anthony, super chatting it just isn't a good way to send it in. Fair enough. Phil, your players get chippy, Dan? At times, yeah. 100%. At times, yeah. Whether it's volleyball, soccer, basketball, or football, yeah, players will get chippy at times, especially if you're getting competitive situations. Is that so you? And I don't know why some are flipped out about the fingernail polish. Men been getting manicures for centuries. Adding color is just more bling. Yeah, this is true. This is very true. Gary, good morning. Duke Crew, Super Bowl or bust. But to be the man, you had to beat the man. Yes, very Ric Flair of you. And yes, the Bears are going to have to beat the man. And the man right now is the Detroit Lions. Camp, correct, Don. Broski. I have $100 bet with Anthony Cunningham. He sent his money through Super Chat and YouTube takes a cut, so we have to send in around $70 for a $50 bet. So I'm suggesting Cash App. There you go. Rosie Dunborough If you want to bet, let's talk. All right. True Light training camp is at the end of July, so less than 90 days away. All right. Phil, keys are tennis shoes. All right. Let's see, Anthony, I want some more of your money, broke bear. They're broski bear. They're brokey bear, whatever. Broski, Burr, my bet with Anthony is the Bears win the game against Detroit this season. Don, Teddy Bear, what is your bet? I'm saying win a game. I need more boldness. All right. Broski, I couldn't pass that one up. Don, he is off for to me, and I accepted. Yes, he offered and accepted. Don, the way you talk, sweep us to Teddy. Let's see, Broski, Teddy Bear. All right. Phil, Jen says, bathroom, woo! As she walks by, I can hear her going through the hallway. Yes, and now she hears me. Anthony, Mr. Burrow, I bet the Lions sweep the Bears. All right. Let's see, Moonscar, Coach, A news on Trey Tipton and his family. To be fair, I have not heard from Trey. Gosh, what's it been? A month? I don't know. I know I sent over the cash that we raised, plus from what we got from the show. Yeah, it's been whatever it's been, a month and a half or so. So I have not heard from him or seen him in the comment section. But to be fair, they lost their house, they lost all the possessions from what I was told. So maybe they're just focused on other things right now. That's all I could say at this point. All right, let's see, Anthony 100. Phil, quarterback careers die in Chicago. A lot of them have come to pass. Let's see, Broski, let's see, Motown Mitch. If you're talking about trading Hooker to the Bears, you should be looking at Tyson Badgett. I wouldn't do that deal, though. Badgett has a ton of upside. Okay. Moonscar, Phil, Coach, has an all-state center that would make Bill Lambier proud. Yes, we do. And I think this year we're going to be, last year was I think we could argue it was a pretty good season. I think there's some potential this year we could potentially push that, although our schedule is going to be exponentially tougher because we did add a couple teams that really should be real tough challenges for us. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. I tried to catch up as best I could on the comment section. I do want to thank Kurt Steele, the infamous one, for coming on the show. A couple things before we get out of here. If there is some breaking news today, I'll try to get it over to you as fast as possible. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push for 6,800 subs. And if you would just take a moment of time from your day, hit that thumbs up button. As you all know, it helps the channel out exponentially. So take care, enjoy your Friday, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.